Welcome class to lesson 4-11. Strong mathematicians can analyze and extend numbers or shape patterns. So today we're going to be looking at patterns and different shape patterns to see how we can use our skills to extend them beyond what is already given to us. So take out your notebook, your pencil, you write down today's date, the name of the lesson, and let's get started. So a pattern is a sequence that can be described by a rule. So you're seeing something, you describe it by a rule that applies to the pattern that we see. And we'll put that into use when we look at some patterns and some rules in our examples. So you can pause the video and write down this vocabulary word. So we're going to use the rule to find the next three terms in the pattern. So notice it says 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. My guess if you were thinking about those numbers I was saying, you didn't even need to look at the rule because you knew the rule was you're going to add 2. So we need to find the next three terms. So a term is, this is considered a term, this is a term, this is a term. So each individual part is considered a term, so we need the next three terms for adding 2. So we would go 30, then we go 32, 34, 36. Those would be the next three terms if we were following the pattern and the rule of add 2. So now our next rule here is a rule we need to multiply by 2. So if we look, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. So 40 times 2 is 80. So 80 would go up here. And then 80 times 2, well, 8 times 2 is 16. So that would be 160. And then 160 times 2. So 2 times 16 would be 32. So it's really important that you really take your time to multiply, because if you get that first number wrong in your rule, but you do the other ones correctly, all those numbers would still be wrong because the first number you got was wrong. So it's really important that you take your time and even go back and double check your work to make sure that you multiplied them by 2. So you can pause the video right now, write down these examples to help you out. So use the rule to find the first 10 terms in the pattern. So we're going to have a rule, we're going to find some terms to this pattern right here. So notice the first term is 10, so they're actually giving you the first term, which makes it really nice. 10. And then the pattern is we want to add 60. So we're going to add 60 to 10, so that would be 70. And then we're going to add 60 to 70, which would be 130. So notice a lot of people I've seen done in the past, they'll start here with 10 plus 60. They get 70. They write that down. Plus 60 for the next one. 130. They write that down. Plus 60 again. Gives them 190. And they write that down. Then they go back to adding 60 more. They get 250, and they write that one down. So notice you have to be very careful when you do this to make sure if you mess up one of these along the way, the rest of them are going to get messed up, and therefore you get lots of them wrong. So make sure you go really careful as you're adding and go back and double check. So 310 is the next one, 370, 430. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 490. And 550. So those would be the first 10 terms of, this would be the rule following the pattern. So you can write those down as well. Sometimes you might see things in a chart and be able to figure out from this chart what that pattern is and figure out to answer a question. So for example, Theo runs 5 miles every morning. He tracks his progress on a chart to log how many miles he has run in all. How many miles will Theo write on day 100? So we have to look to figure out where's the pattern here. What is the pattern? Well, day 1, he has 5 miles, all right? So day 2, he has 10 miles. And day 3, he has 15. Day 4, he has 20. Day 5, he has 25. So what would he have on day 100? Well, if he's running 5 miles every morning, we notice that 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 5 is 20. So that means 100 times 5 would be, you got it, 500. So you can pause that video right now and write down that chart to kind of help you see how you might recognize a pattern from a chart and be able to fill in the blank. So sometimes we see boxes, sometimes we also see patterns of repeating terms. So what are repeating terms of a pattern? So I guess repeating terms is another vocabulary word. It's the part that repeats itself. It's the pattern that repeats. So if we look, we have a black A, a blue B, a blue C, a black D, a black A, a blue B, a blue C, and a black D. So where does it repeat? Well, I look right here. I see this part right here, and then it repeats that same thing over. So what are the repeating terms of the pattern? It would be, well, I have to make them sure right here, the black A, the blue B, the blue C, and the black D. So those would be my repeating terms of the pattern. The next one, what is the 18th term in this pattern? So this is going to repeat over and over and over again, that same pattern. So I could write this out, A, and then B, C, D, and continue that until I get 18. Or I could use this strategy of saying, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it would be, the 18th term would be a blue B. Another thing you can do to solve that one, if you're looking for the 18th term, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in your pattern. So you go 4 divided by 18, that would be 4. So that would be 16. Subtract, you get a 2, remainder of 2. So notice, you'd have 4 full groups, and then 2 left to be 1, 2, and notice we got that same answer of a blue B. So it's another strategy you can use to help you solve if you're looking for a certain term in a repeating term pattern. So now I have these circles right now. It says, how many equal parts will there be in the 7th term? So notice there's 0. So there's 1 part, now there's 2, right? So if I start to write these numbers down to help me out. So now I see 1, now I see 2, now I see 4, now I see 8. So it looks like we're just multiplying every number by 2. So that means in the 5th one, there would be 16 pieces because it would be 8 times 2. And the next one, it looks like it would be 16 times 2 would give us 32. And in the last one, it would be 32 times 2, which would give us 64. So how many equal parts would be in the 7th term? 64. Good thing I didn't have to draw that because that'd be some really tiny parts. So you can pause this video right now, think about what repeating terms and repeating patterns means, think about the different strategies you use to come up with finding a term in a pattern, and how to find equal parts in a term. You draw a big line right now, right down box 3. Now your turn. It's now time to show off your skills. So you're going to use the rule to find the next 3 terms in the pattern. So you have 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, and your rule is you want to add 3. The next one, number 2, is you have 6, 18, 54, 162. Your rule is to multiply by 3. Pause the video right now. Good luck. And for number 3, you want to use the rule to find the first 10 terms in the pattern. So there's your terms. There's your first term. There's the rule. So you can find the first 10 in this pattern. Also, number 4, Ryan walks 4 miles every morning. He tracks his progress on a chart to log how many miles he has walked in all. How many miles will Ryan write on day 80? So take that chart, write out that chart, and fill in that missing number to see how many miles did I walk on day 80. Yes, my name is Ryan. And last but not least, we want to figure out what is the repeating pattern, what term is the 22nd term in that pattern, and how many equal parts does the 6th term have. So you can pause the video right now, answer these questions as well. Good luck. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to write them down or share them out. Also, if you have any strategies that you use to help you, make sure you share those out as well to help those who still might be struggling. Thank you again for another great lesson.